Well, but I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, you know, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang.
Yo, Ellen, we go so far back. You don't tell these people how far back we go.
I know, but I wear T-shirts. I don't know what that means. Anyway, all right.
So, I have been posting my thoughts and my stance on this, but I haven't spoken directly because...
Ellen DeGeneres defending Diddy was the moment a lot of people stopped scrolling and actually paid attention. Not because it was shocking, but because of the timing. While Diddy's name continues to dominate headlines and public scrutiny intensifies, seeing someone with Ellen's level of influence speak in his favor immediately raised eyebrows across social media. For many viewers, it was not just about support. It was about what that support represented.
Your birthday party, am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, you know, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them. I'll listen to the music. I've heard that song, After Party.
Old alliances, old jokes, and long-standing industry relationships suddenly resurfaced at the exact moment the public narrative around Diddy began to collapse. At the same time, Ice Cube's past warnings about Hollywood power structures started circulating again, and people began looking at them through a very different lens. Ice Cube has long argued that the entertainment industry is not run purely on talent, but on gatekeeping, silence, and obedience.
Who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. The records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're going to have this guy write the lyrics. We're going to have that. You have, the record company pushing the narrative, some social engineering.
According to him, the moment you stop playing along, the system does not attack you loudly. Instead, it works quietly. He has described how retaliation rarely looks dramatic. It shows up as invitations no longer coming in, phone calls going unanswered, and former allies slowly distancing themselves. Ice Cube has said this is how control actually works in Hollywood, slowly, quietly, and effectively. That perspective is now being re-examined as Diddy's situation continues to unfold. Public discussion has also shifted toward how normalized certain behavior became for years.
I've banned you.
I've been, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but...
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
It's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, I'm not, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No.
Diddy's after parties were often joked about on mainstream platforms and treated as part of celebrity culture. Clips resurfacing now show just how casually those moments were dismissed at the time. What once sounded like harmless humor is now being replayed with a very different tone. People online are no longer asking whether powerful figures were aware of what was happening around Diddy.
Shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, you know, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, you know, I'm an outsider. And so, you know, I'm not part of the club. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Instead, they are asking how much was known, who benefited from staying silent, and why no one challenged it publicly when they had the platform to do so. That shift in questioning marks a major change in how these stories are being viewed. Ellen's proximity to Diddy has become a focal point in that debate, not because of any proven wrongdoing, but because of access, familiarity, and timing. When someone repeatedly appears in the same spaces, on the same platforms, and within the same circles, the public naturally begins to ask questions. Those questions intensified when Ellen stepped away from the spotlight and relocated abroad as Diddy's legal problems escalated.
Ellen DeGeneres has been seen rocking a new hair color since moving to the UK. The comedian changed her signature blonde look to brunette as she was seen enjoying a night out with friends at a pub called The Farmer's Dog. Ellen went out with her wife, Portia de Rossi, and a few friends, including the torn singer Natalie Imbruglia. Sources told TMZ earlier this week that Ellen and Portia moved to England because of Donald Trump's re-election. They have reportedly settled into their new home in the southwest region of England, but they purchased...
Some view that move as a personal decision following years of controversy and public pressure. Others see the timing as suspicious. There has been no official explanation linking her move to Diddy, but online speculation has continued regardless. The scrutiny did not emerge out of nowhere.
As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show. And then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. This is the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I am Ellen DeGeneres. My name is there. My name is there. My name is on underwear. We have had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about the show, our workplace, and what we want for the future. We have made the necessary changes, and today we are starting a new chapter.
Years earlier, Ellen's carefully crafted public image had already taken a hit when former staff members described a toxic work environment behind the scenes of her show. While those allegations were unrelated to Diddy, they contributed to a broader idea that what audiences see on camera does not always reflect what happens off it.
More tonight about the tragic suicide of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his suicide, he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left his note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
That realization has pushed people to re-examine other figures and environments that were once assumed to be harmless. This is where the conversation grows darker. The tragic death of Stephen Twitch Boss has been pulled into wider online speculation, not because of confirmed evidence, but because of how intensely people are now questioning the pressures placed on individuals working inside powerful entertainment systems. As trust erodes, even unrelated tragedies are being reinterpreted through a lens of systemic pressure, silence, and control. While no official findings link his passing to anyone in the industry, many people view it as a reminder of how silence, stress, and power imbalance can take a serious toll. Much of this discussion is driven by online theory rather than verified facts, but it continues to resurface because it fits a broader belief about Hollywood culture.
I'll take you back time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Hey, everybody. Everyone is in pain and trying to make sense of it, and we'll never make sense of it. And the holidays are hard, I think, anyway. But to honor Twitch, I think the best thing that we can do is to laugh and hug each other and play games.
A belief that silence is rewarded, questioning is punished, and narratives are carefully managed from the top down. Ellen is not the only name being pulled into this wider conversation. Figures like Oprah and Jay-Z are often mentioned as part of the same elite media ecosystem. Ice Cube has said that once you challenge that ecosystem, you are quietly pushed out. According to him, empowerment is often used as branding, while real power remains tightly controlled behind closed doors. Diddy's downfall only intensified these debates. One moment he was viewed as untouchable, surrounded by enormous wealth and influence. The next, he was facing mounting legal pressure and public scrutiny. Some people see this as long overdue accountability. Others believe it reflects internal power struggles rather than a sudden discovery of wrongdoing. Now the fight has shifted toward narrative control. Documentaries, lawsuits, cease and desist claims, and carefully timed media appearances have become tools in a larger battle over how this story will ultimately be remembered.
Diddy everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
He produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, the Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he gave us great music. We flew out to New York, and I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And I really kind of, lost contact with him and really stopped, dealing with Puffy around 94.
Yeah. Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. I ain't never really wanted to go. But I don't go to a lot of people parties. That just ain't what I'm in it for. You've been to one, you've been to them all.
Are you surprised at what things are coming out with Diddy at all? Or you're like, you have no idea, it's none of my business, you'll live longer? Is that kind of like the mindset?
I'm surprised. How could you be surprised with anything that happens in hip hop? Hip hop is the Wild West. So you're going to have the good, you're going to have the bad, you're going to have the ugly.
You think he's being targeted, or some of the stuff he's got, there's credibility on what they're coming after him with the tapes and the feds and raiding his Miami home, his LA home?
I believe he's being targeted.
You believe he's being targeted?
Yeah. I believe, somebody, has the power to pull the trigger to make, this stuff just domino effect.
Supporters attempt to reshape public perception, while critics push back harder than ever. What becomes clear is that Hollywood is not just built on fame and success. It is built on alliances, silence, leverage, and control. Speaking out often comes with consequences. Staying quiet often comes with protection. As these stories continue to collide, more people are questioning who truly controls the narrative and why certain voices are amplified while others quietly disappear. The industry thrives on image, but moments like this force people to confront the possibility that what happens behind the scenes may be far darker and far more calculated than whatever appears on camera. What makes this situation unsettling is not just who is being discussed, but how familiar the pattern feels. Powerful figures rise together, protect each other in silence, and when one of them finally falls, everyone suddenly acts like they were never that close. The public only sees the collapse, never the years of normalization that came before it. The jokes, the platforms, the quiet approval. And that leaves one uncomfortable question hanging in the air. If this is what finally came to light, what never did? If you think this story goes deeper than what we're being shown, drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Drama and Brief for more breakdowns like this, because these stories never end where they're supposed to.